Okay, hello. Test, test. 1, 2, 3. Okay, hello. Test, test. 1, 2, 3. How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining. I'm just getting everything out. I guess I can turn the wallpaper off now. We are back to work on the longbows today. Oh no, my little webcam visor, made of tape and an old business card, is drooping into view. But it needs to block the lamp. Okay, no, that's not working. Just bear with me a moment while I fix this. Okay, that's holding for now. I used a fresh piece of tape today and everything. I think I need to move the mic just a bit closer. Let me just mute it. Alright, that should be better. So I think I'm just gonna go one by one today and just finish up all the base coats of the non-metallics. And then put on, I don't think I'm gonna paint all the like rivets and studs on the armor until after the wash, but the ones that have the metal hats, I'm gonna paint at least the metallics on those, and I'll paint like the blades of the daggers that the command stand models have. And our wet palette's still decently moist, so we only need to re-moisten it a little bit. Oh hey, Fiverr, I'm happy to provide you some good background noise. And hello 80. Thank you for joining. I'm glad to hear that Achilles is doing better. Alright, now there's only a few models, 3 to be exact, that have red on them, so I'm going to focus on finishing them first. And I don't even know if the red base coat needs anything. I think the red base coat's pretty much solid. I should hold this in view of the camera and just move the camera a little bit over here. Alright. Yeah, that's better. His face looks really shiny right now, obviously, because it's been washed. That'll change. Yeah, these I think I'm going to leave them black. Alright, I was debating whether I was going to do any pre-shading black highlight. I should probably do that. That'll just be like a little bit on the bow. I think I need to pick out this armor detail a bit. Paint the boots a bit, so mostly browns, but the red on that one's good. And then this one feels like it almost needs a bit more red. But yeah, maybe that is enough red. Like I could, okay, well I do have to paint that strap brown on the leg. I was gonna say I could paint the pants red, but no, that'll be too much red because of the cloak. I think, oh wait, I could paint the, we could paint the fletching of the arrows purple like we did with the old longbowman Kipash, who is in a case in the other room. I'm not gonna go get it right now. I got pictures on my Instagram and the Conquest highlights. Yeah, that could be fun if I... It depends on which command stand this one goes in. You know what, I'm just gonna go get the command stand from the box actually. Wait, I think I did actually bring it in here. Okay, we've got some live army list planning here. Yeah, this is the one I was talking about with the purple fletching. We should paint at least one more like this, right? Well, and if it's like the red and white scheme, we should naturally do that for this one too, but yeah, this one, there's only that one bit of purple and it's the fletching, so we should probably do it on this one. And okay, we gotta distribute here. So when I originally built this unit of Imperial Ranger Corps, the in the rules you could pay 5 points to give them a standard bearer, but then, you know, there's been some updates since then, and now the Rangers don't have a banner, so the Ranger banner we made is gonna be the leader, or the banner for the longbows. And then we've got each command stand for the unit will have one kind of unique leader model that's primarily red and white, like this lad. And then the new additions is they're each also going to have a green and red. Hence we have these ones. And it's for the medium units, just replace green with blue, and then for the heavy units, I kind of just like add purple, red, and white as much as I can on each one, because they're the fanciest, because they're the heavy units. And yeah, so that's how I like over plan my multicolor 100 Kingdoms army kind of in a nutshell. Anyways, so this, we can just take them off the putty. This is definitely a ranger because we gave it gave him a hood and cloak. So that's the green and red one sorted for the ranger stand. Because in my army list, by the way, I don't know if I explained my army list to you yet. There's one unit of rangers, one unit of longbows, in terms of my archers. Okay, so that means the only other red and green one naturally will go to the longbows. And then we have to give a red and white one to each unit. And but we should keep in mind that these two have the same bow, so they probably don't want to be in the same command stand, if that makes sense. But on top of that, these two share the same body pose. So they would, it would be ideal if they went in different command stands. So then we get a red and white model for each command stand. And then this is the ranger that was just like a filler before. And now, yeah, I was thinking before whether, because then the filler for the longbowman command stand would just be another ranger body. Which I was like, kind of mixed on. But it's only 2 of the 4 that have the cloaks, and like I could swap this out with a different ranger when I take pictures of the unit, just for the sake of a better look. I'll probably just like put this guy in there. I'm like just totally overthinking how I want my army to be displayed on the tabletop, of course. I already went onto a long tangent on the last stream about like why I clipped the shafts of these arrows off, and I like would put way too much emphasis on the word shaft. Yeah, I don't think I need these painted ones. Yeah, I might as well keep them nearby in case I'm looking for a reference. Oh yeah, and this whole time I was doing this to decide whether to paint the shafts of the arrows purple, and we're definitely gonna do that on this red and white model. I suppose I won't do it with the green and red ones. It's green, purple, and red, that's a bit of a janky color scheme. I'm not sure if I want that mix on one model. But yeah, just one little, one quiver of purple arrows per unit. That's not overdoing it, I think. So I'll just squirt a teeny tiny bit of purple on the palette. And just quickly smoosh these back into their poster tack painting handles. My classic vintage GW paint pot caked in years of primer and varnish. Also, the burps this stream will probably be minimal. I already drank coffee this morning and then brushed my teeth, so we're just going on pure water. Okay, purple. Where'd that royal purple go? Oh no, I put it away. It's alright. Use that brush. So just off to the side here. Took me a second. And that, no, that's we need tiny bit more. Oh, of course, this, I think I have a fresh bottle of night purple, but this one still has enough in it for the purposes of, like, this recent batch of 100 Kingdoms. We might have to pry off the nozzle on this one and scoop some paint out, I think. I can just skip it out of here. I don't need more paint than that. And we are going for the usual 2-hour stream today. That's what we're aiming for. Yeah, that's probably even too much. No matter. And we haven't fully touched up the brown on this model, so if I spill onto the shafts a little bit, it's no biggie. You know, this one will have the quiver like the other red and white Archer model, but it's nowhere near, it's not really kibashed at all other than the quiver. And the other one even has like a little magical familiar on it. And it has an old Men-at-Arms body, which I've used those old Men-at-Arms bodies on a lot of kibashes at this point, because I had so many of them. Alright, that purple on the palette there will probably go to waste, but we got room to spare. The nice part about using a bunch of browns on a wet palette is, like, a lot of them can be used to just, like, complement each other. So, if they bleed onto each other on the palette, it's sometimes not always a bad thing. Okay, well, I did say I was going to work on one at a time, so I might as well stick to that. Definitely want white fur, white headband, red. Okay, we got to do the shin armor a little bit. Gotta paint the boot. That needs some metallic, which we should probably do, actually. I guess we'll save that part for like a batch of metallic at the end, right before the wash. Okay, we need to do this, paint the sleeve right in between the like poofy off-white bit. We could paint that. You know what, we might just continue with the off-white color, and yeah, that might be the best actually. And we just need to do brown here. Maybe paint that handle. And we could paint that handle purple, actually. That might be fun. That's a fun little subtle dot of purple, and we can do it on the other blade. Let's just do that right now. The paint is still totally moist and usable. And then the one on the shoulder. I don't think there are any more knives. With the handles exposed, that is. Alright. Let's do that off-white sleeve. Squirt a little bit of pale sand. I wonder how the new mix of Vallejo is with this color, because this one is a little, I don't know if chalky is the right word. You know, it's just as finicky as a white paint, which makes sense. It's basically an off-white. A fairly beige off-white. If you paint any kind of fantasy minis from any range, it never hurts to have a lot of off-whites, beiges, and browns in your collection. Oh shit, there's a bit of purple on that. Now let me put this into view so you can see my emergency wet palette jank. Okay, I think that's good enough. And painting these, painting the kind of bunched up sleeve is just continuing onto the arm will kind of look a little weird now, but I'm hoping if I make sure the wash like pools just enough in the sleeve, area that it'll look like just a different color. You know? There isn't really an equivalent thing to do on the other arm. So I think that's the only like off-white section, which feels a little janky. We could like also do off-white on the fur, but I think we're gonna stick with the white fur. Yeah, I'm painting the handles of the weapon with the off-white. I don't think that'll look good. Okay, now I think we're going to... There might just be enough burnt umber left on the palette to reactivate. To be enough to cover the touch-ups we're doing. Because, you know, with them being airbrushed and burnt umber as like the final like pre-brush painting prep, we've already blocked in all that color by just like painting other colors around it. So we just need to do like a touch-up pass and don't even have to think about like, is this the right color choice for this area? Yeah, I just need to paint the scabbard of this dagger black, but yeah, we'll do black here. We'll do black when we're highlighting the pre-wash, highlighting the black leather armor, the boiled leather, as I was calling it. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I think the camera needs a little reset here. How is everyone else's January 9th going? Anyone else working on it? Models perhaps, or other? I guess if it's a Friday, then probably lots of you are working on earning a living work, which I'll be doing later today. Gonna get in a couple hours of streaming first though. We're almost at half an hour. Yeah, we need to paint the trim of the coat black as well. Maybe I'll do black after this brown then. Excuse me. No, these ones... there's that bit of black trim showing in between these belts, and I think I might just not paint that part black and just rely on the wash to darken it up enough, because that is like a detail that would be very finicky to pick out, and I don't think I need to, if that makes sense. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like tiny metallic details to be picked out on the all the strappage going on the front here. I remember when I was painting the Rangers before these, that like that last stage of picking out those little metallic details was actually very gratifying. Because after it was done, I was like, oh, these feel truly complete now. And they might have been, there might have been just a few more things to do after, and then of course the varnish and basing. But the varnish and basing process is like the same for every mini. It's just kind of like an afterthought when it comes to army painting. Like the initial start when you're like thinking of the ideas isn't an afterthought. Like once you've done so many in the army, the basing process is just kind of like autopilot. I guess in theory the whole army ends up being like autopilot. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna scoop up a little bit of this off-white from earlier, dip the brush in water, and we're just gonna find out what happens when I mix it with this old spot. Yeah, it's just like a darker beige basically. And now that like that first layer on the sleeve was dry, we're just gonna like add a coat of whatever this is in there. There's some just extra little bit of random mixed color separation. We just gotta not mess up and spill onto it. And of course I did spill a bit onto the, what's this, pale sand sleeve bit of before, so this could use a second coat anyways. Maybe this is like the third coat of it. Okay. Now we will, is there a bit on the, okay, a little bit of that pouch on the back needs touching up. Oh yeah, and the shafts of the arrows. Better not forget those. Can't tell if that's a piece of dust. That'll have to just be painted over later. I think I'm gonna, this trim bit of the quiver, I think I'm gonna paint that black. Just for a bit of a differentiation between the leather straps. You know me, love overthinking painting the back of the model. I think I said in a previous stream something about like some, you know, like galaxy brain take. Like, what if painting the back of the model is actually the most important, because if you're gonna be gaming like with them, because you know everyone who paints minis is like a gamer that's like going to the club every week to hone the skills with their army, which like I do sometimes, and I think it's a pretty cool thing to do. But yeah, it's like if you're doing a lot of that, you're gonna be looking at the back of those minis so hard, so it's like maybe you should spend a lot of effort painting the back of the mini. I mean, even if you're just a display painter, you should, because in the 3D world of miniature painting is like an art form, you know, your mini is like a 360-degree canvas. Okay, I think I'm gonna paint the black now, and then we'll mix some dark brown with that black to do some highlighting. I think we're gonna do some straight up gray highlighting on the bow as well. Yeah, I think I'll try and do that now. Maybe we'll still do some final highlights after the wash on the bow, just because it does have like very distinct edges to highlight. And what I'm staring and contemplating, I gotta remember to keep the mini in frame so you know what the frick I'm talking about. Anyways, black. Some nice mixing ball ASMR there for you, I hope. Okay, well, definitely gonna paint this scabbard black. And we need to paint the trim of the coat. And then the trim of the quiver. And the boots. It's a bit of a tricky edge to get into here. Here we go. We're in the trim painting concentration zone now, fam. The line is like more distinct on some parts of the model than others. If I could be a pretty hardcore painter about it, it'd be nice if I could have these longbows done by next Thursday, and then I can bring them to Conquest, or bring a fully painted 2K 100 Kingdoms list to Conquest night. Okay, I could paint the collar a bit red or black, and I'm not sure what I want to do. I think I should just do black. I need to get the edge of this trim a bit more, though. The underside, I mean. And let's just paint the boots while we're down here. Paint his soul. Could paint the base rim while I'm here too. Painting base rims, it's gotta be like at least an A tier miniature painting activity. I find painting base rims relaxing. I don't know about you. Oh, I forgot to touch up the brown on the bracer there. Damn, I felt like I was missing something. Let's try and remember to do that right after I'm done the pure black. And yeah, because the skin tone we got on here before did spill over a bit, which looks weird. If the black spills over onto the skin tone a little bit, it's probably fine. Painting the edge of this trim next to what's supposed to be like white fur is a little tricky as well. And messing up onto the skin will be very annoying to clean up, so gotta try hard not to do that. Hopefully all that was in focus. Looks like my my laptop webcam sunshade visors drooping down into view a bit again, but I think I'm gonna leave it for now. It's not really blocking much. Okay, and then this trim on the right next to the side of the head is a little bit tricky, but I think And yeah, I don't. Dude, it is kind of distinct running all the way down along the side of the face. I kind of feel obligated to try and get it. But boy, that is a tricky. If I spill over it onto the gray, it's fine. Because I'll be going over that with like the white later after the wash anyways. So really I shouldn't be too worried. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. Got the trim, we just gotta do the trim of the quiver. Oh yeah, if I was thinking that I might, when I've reached a good spot to like just take a quick stretch break, I could give a little treat to those who are watching at that point and show the fun new model kit I got the other day that I'm planning as my contest piece in May. And which will show up on streams and a video eventually. I was thinking that might be closer towards the end of the stream. Okay, I need more black to paint the other shoe. Painting the heel is a little tricky, but not quite necessary. Okay, there's a tiny bit. And just a tiny, tiny little spot. Okay. There's a couple little spots inside the collar that kind of have skin showing that I don't want to. Just right at the neck. Right, and then a bit of brown to fix up the bracer that I forgot about. Like, I could pick out the bit closer to the wrist as like the off-white or the mid brown beige sleeve color, like it's poking out a bit, but I think it'd be better if I like simplify it a bit and just make it a full block of burnt umber, if that makes sense. While I'm here, I kind of want to paint the bottom of the quiver black as well. Alright, now I need to do a bit of dark brown highlighting on some of the black pieces. Oh, I forgot to paint this scabbard black. And then that's all the pre-metallic stuff done. So let me just grab that scabbard real quick. Alright. And now we're just gonna scoop some of the black already on the palette over here to some remnants of our game color dark flesh tone, I believe it was. Probably with some other stuff mixed in there. Yeah, and I think we gotta mix it just a bit more. And we're just gonna dab it onto this kind of dark leather armor bit. Kind of aiming to create some simulated texture, you know. Still want like a bit of black showing underneath. Just a little bit. And I like gotta work fast because I don't want to have to introduce any water to this mix on the palette, because then it'll just like seep around too much, you know. And I don't think there's any more black areas. I want to do that too on this particular guy. So, could that be it? I do kind of just want to roll right into the metallics on this one. But to the metallics will be better to do in a larger batch. So I must exercise restraint. There is a tiny, tiny little mess up on the red cuff of the leg. I don't know if that's what you call it. I'm going to see if I can reactivate enough of this pathetic amount of red left over. Sorry, pathetic's too mean a word. It's just whatever is the red's left over. I think I just need to get a little bit out of the nozzle of the bottle of our game color terracotta. Just a teeny tiny bit. Even that's way more than I need. But it's just a tiny bit, so it's fine. Now, maybe there's some other areas I can touch up while I'm here. Right, the cuff of the boot. I still don't know if that's what it's actually called. Might as well tidy up some other areas while I'm here. Alright. I just noticed a couple. Damn, it looks like my wet palette paper broke. It could be seeping into the sponge that is very stained already. Oh no. Okay, on to the next command model. Let's do the janky militia ranger kit bash. Okay. I want the boots to be darker, so I'm just gonna grab more black, mix it in with the old brown over here. I'm gonna get it wetter this time though and just make like a crappy glaze, you know? I gotta decide whether to try and paint the laces of the boot before or after the wash process. There's some hair stuck on the brush or something there. Yeah, this is only making them a little bit darker. I kind of wanted a bit more. So let's just grab a bit more black. Maybe 2 more dashes of water. Perhaps that's a bit more what I was looking for. It's pretty thin though, so I gotta be careful not to spill. And we're gonna do a similar thing with the inner part of these bracers. For some like brown on brown color separation. And I'm just kind of like pooling the wet paint into there. It's pretty easy to avoid painting the trim because keeping that the lighter brown is nice. And I think I'm just also gonna slop this dark brown mix on the back of the cape, which is already like a vague brown. It just needs like cleanup from when the base dry brushing was done. But I suppose we need some more like brown opaqueness in the mix. For the parts that are mostly obscured near the back, I don't need to do much. And you know, if it still is like too translucent, we can just give it more coats after it dries. It is a bit of a shame there is some like a clump of paint or a fiber or a chip of some sort in the corner of the cape here. I don't know what the deal with that is. Perhaps after the wash I should try and fix it. And we do need to do a bit of burnt umber tidy. Just need to get a closer look at what's going on with the palette here. Okay, it doesn't look like the I'm blocking the camera. It doesn't look like the paper is ripped. It's just like very wrinkly. But I'm just gonna try and drag things over a bit. That didn't really work. Next time I have to squirt some burnt umber onto the palette, I'm just gonna like do it more around this area. Kind of start fresh. We got room to spare on the palette because we don't really need to add that. We just need like a bit more. No, the green highlight space can be done within the splotch of green already, so we still have like room to add more. Heck, I could even put metallics on there if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna do that. It's too risky of just getting flecks in colors that you don't want, metallic flecks. I can't remember the technical term for that. And you can kind of see on the hand, actually, that he is wearing a glove. And it's hard to tell how, like, because it's fingerless gloves, but it's hard to tell how much the knuckle is covered. Sorry, I don't know how long that was out of focus for. Teehee. Oh yeah, we got the sleeves on this guy too. We gotta do something with that. I guess the off-white. Or beige, perhaps. Yeah, we'll do that, actually. To match the, what we painted, the little spot of fur on the back of the household guard cape. Right, and the sleeves. Yeah, originally I was planning on having this brush be one of the, like, ones I use rarely and only break out in the moments when I need something super crispy, but it's actually kind of just ended up being the workhorse brush for the last two projects. Come on, surely I didn't dry up that fast. I could paint this, the arm bits I'm painting now, just the skin color, but I forgot to do it when I was painting the skin color, and naturally it's a custom mix that is like a bit annoying to replicate, so we're just painting it like this is an undershirt. You know, this guy's wearing a bunch of layers. He's a ranger. Could be have a circulation issues and get chilly easily. The ideal ranger would be resilient to the heat, though. I think it's safe to say, but they would want to be. Yeah, we're just gonna use more of this than I originally thought. Kind of liking the way it looks. You gotta try and maintain strap integrity more or less. Gotta paint the kind of like bands of the shaft. We could paint those red, actually. That could look neat. You know what? I'm gonna do that. There might be enough paint left on the palette. Perhaps. And I did like paint the laces earlier a bit half-assed, but it's kind of hard to get the coverage on the red you need without just like messing up whatever's already on the laces, so gonna have to just undo that tiny little bit of work I did earlier. I probably only did it because I like had a bunch of leftover sand white on the palette that I needed to use. Alright, there should be just enough paint here. Actually, I might need a bit more for the second coat. Yep, we're gonna need some more. Just a little bit more. Ooh, we just passed an hour. Just need to take off a layer there. You know, wearing 3 layers, it got a little toasty. For a chilly person like me. Okay, now we just need to do some black touch-up and that's it, really. There's a tiny bit of brown, maybe I can... Or a tiny bit area of this brown that needs to be tidied up. I think I can just scoop up a quick little bit of that and get it in there. This is a little bit darker, but maybe I can just do some pre-shading here. Sure, why not? Back to the black, which there's still plenty of here. Gonna touch up the bow a bit. And then try and get the inner handle of the bow, which on some other models I think I painted red, but with the kind of like red bits we just painted previously, I think that's enough red on the bow. And I want the boots to be a bit darker again. could pick out some of these buckles on the cloth armor with brown, or we could use metallics. I think we should probably use metallics, so this one just like isn't completely metallicless in comparison to the other bodies in the unit slash regiment. Could this one be done for the pre-wash? I believe so. Next command model. I don't know if there's that much left to do on this one. Definitely a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of black. A little bit of red. Alright. Start with the black. Just had an impulsive thought to paint these arrows purple, but I remember I did the whole thing earlier with the command stand to figure out wait, what am I doing there? To determine that purple arrows, only one mini per stand gets the purple arrows, and it's the red and white one. Okay, I just realized I did miss one brown detail on the peasant ranger model. Should be barely enough paint left on the palette to cover, and because it's just the shaft of the fletching that this guy's holding. I suppose we need to put some fresh off-white on the arrow as well. Not sure if there's enough on the palette for that. Yeah, it looks like there might be enough. I'm gonna try not to undo that shaft I just painted. The paint's not even fully dry yet. Okay, now the peasant ranger is actually done the pre-wash. Back to this guy. We were still doing the black, I believe. much left to do for the black, I think. Alright. Definitely need to do brown. I think that's it. Oh, and a little bit of red. The red will be over faster, so let's just get that done. Because it's mostly this section of the bow. I don't need to worry this much about the coverage deep into this recess. Thinking realistically, but it's like my brain is like, it's the coloring book, you gotta fill in the whole shape. Don't you dare half-ass it. And I think we just need to do burnt umber, touch up the quiver, and that's it. I think we probably need a bit more of each color. Starting a somewhat new pile of burnt umber, where the palette paper is less worn down. For timing wise and just variety of stream, I might, like, I'll paint the ranger body after this one, and then I'll wash the 4 that I've been working on, and that might be a good spot to end the stream at. And then, because I only want to do one more 100 Kingdoms stream, I only want to get up to 8 parts, because this is stream 7. And so I can demo the rest of the base coating process in this stream and the washing process, and then the final stream can mostly just be like the final highlighting and stuff. And then that's like a nice spread of the process for the streams that are on the record here, rather than like this stream doing all base coats and then the next stream being like just a bunch of washing. It is like a little bit tricky to determine where the edge of this bracer and the green slave start and begin. Sorry, not super chatty right now. I'm painting straps again. Surely you'll understand the importance of this task. I don't want to have to put more green on the palette and touch it up. Now, is there a matching strap on the other leg? It doesn't really look like it. So I'm not going to paint one. I can pick out the details on the boots a bit though with this slightly different brown. Hello Sparkster, thank you for visiting. Yeah, you can say that again, Strapster. The straps in Final Fantasy game is unmatched. The sheer level of straps and buckles. Gotta do the shafts of the arrows and the quiver now. In true blood color. Jaden VHY Y2G, thanks for coming by the way. Does it make sense if you cover your corn berserkers in true blood color? What exactly is true blood color? Is that like a specific product? Are you talking about like your corn berserkers are already base coated and you're adding like blood effects to them, as in like you want them to appear splattered in blood? I'm not sure what the situation is here. Also, I'm glad I used the new fresh bottle top coat when I painted my nails this week, because I don't remember my nails lasting this long without being like totally wrecked and chip in a long time. I mean, when it comes to blood splatter, I find less is more. There's too much blood splatter, then it just reads as like red ink being splashed, maybe. There's some techniques out there where you take kind of like a messy brush. Maybe this isn't the best example, but you do this and then like flick or like do a specific thing to like give you like a simulated splat, like true splatter. So I would look into some like kind of specific blood splatter techniques that might help direct where how splattery you want to get. I see some black that needs to be touched up. Also, hello, Roy MS06. Yeah, Fiverr. I had top coat before, but it was like a kind of crappy older bottle, so I kept, you know, using it out of the principle, like, well, I gotta use it all up to get the money's worth. Blue Parappa is like, well, like, your nails keep chipping because you're using the bad top coat. Use the good one. This time I just used the good one. There might still be just a little bit of the crappy one left. I'm not sure what else there is to do. Oh, we gotta do the other side of the shafts. That might be the last bit. Oh, an old toothbrush. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sparkster. That's a way you can do it. Spills a little bit onto the off-white there, but we need to give it a second coat anyway, so whatever. Alright, just a bit of the side here. Alright, let's just touch up the off-white, and then this one will be done for the pre-wash. Getting some classical music now. I feel like the playlist shuffle has gone more for the ambient electronica so far. Well, it almost looks like the paper on this end is tearing too. I think it'll last long enough to finish this project. Yes, the inside collar could actually use a bit. We'll just keep it simple and do black. There's just a bit of skin tone that's like clearly painted onto the cloth, which we don't want, and it's a fairly visible area. It's probably good enough. Alright, now we'll just gotta finish up this ranger and then we'll do some washing. I don't remember what color I painted these, this section of the bow on the, other, just regular rangers, but it wasn't red, I can tell you that. Well, the off-white is the most abundant on the palette right now, so I will start with that. Yeah, this one has the same arms as the peasant. The peasant ranger, he was known. As he was known, I should say. Who was the true veteran of the Imperial Ranger Corps. Painting around this cloak is pretty tricky, not gonna lie. And we got a bit of khaki here. Can use that. For the scarfy bit looking bit here, we could paint that white. That could be interesting actually. But I think it'll be easier to just do this, and actually that might be more matchy with the others. Alright, I think that's all for the beige. Need a bit of the dark brown going. For that shin piece that we painted on the one earlier. It's a little too dark, it looks like right now. Where's the other spot I was gonna put this? Oh yeah, there's some interesting splatter on there. I'm gonna try and get that. Oh right, we need to add some extra water and then put it on the bracers to kind of like pseudo shade the patchwork detail there. Patchwork's not the right word. Paddedness, perhaps. Just grabbing a little dab of burnt umber to mix in with the dark brown here to get kind of more of the highlight I want on this shin. Alright. I do need to just add a little bit of dark flesh tone to fix an area of the jacket. Can't use pure dark flesh tone though, because that's going to be the highlight color, so we just got to mix it in with the dark that's still a little bit wet. I mean, it's still just decently wet. There's just like only a little bit of it left. Okay, that's probably closer to the right tone. I don't know what else there is to do pre-wash for this. Might be ready. Wait, just a tiny bit of burnt umber. There's just a couple straps here and there. Areas of straps. Always back to the importance of the strapping. Spilled over a little bit onto the black there, but I think the wash will correct that well enough. Gotta be careful around the skin. I do have to remember. I think that part's supposed to be off-white, actually. Please tell me there's enough left. Oh yeah, I definitely ripped up the paper there. 28mm scale Sephiroth. Was that like a 3D print or something? Nice. Are you going to use this 28mm scale Sephiroth in a game of any kind? Alright, now I need to do some very careful black collar around that off-white fur, and I think that's the last bit. Although, maybe just a bit more burnt umber over here. Oh yeah, we definitely missed the side of this, the side of the belt over on this side. Gotta get that. Regrettably, I think I just need a tiny little bit more black onto the palette. Sephiroth would be pretty sweet in D&D. Oh, nice, the old putting a coin under the base. I've done that before, especially with standard bearers. Okay, collar. That was the last bit. Oh, we could clean up the trim over here, actually. Oh, and by clean up, I mean paint it in the first place, because I didn't even do it yet. Damn, the music just got way more energetic. Okay, now's the stressful part. Maybe that wasn't so bad after all. I do need to get the inside of the handle, or the handle of the bow, and I think I might do red. And that's a bit too thin, we need some more. I think I can get everything I need just by scooping it out of the nozzle. Alright. Now I do need, I'm not gonna do the silver metallics, but I am gonna do some of the gold metallics just before the washing process. And by gold I mean bronze. I'm not sure if I'll necessarily do this for the ones that have the very wide brimmed metallic hats that you'll see a lot more of. Do I even need to do this? Maybe I don't. Perhaps I just do the washing. It was only... yeah, I guess it was for that area in there. Yeah, no, I think I need to do it actually. But it's time to switch to the dry palette. Old, crusty, reliable. Not that old actually. The real old crusty reliable is this bad boy here. Alright, model color bronze, where are ye? You're here somewhere. There you are. Probably switch to the slightly worse synthetic brush, as is the principle with metallics, sort of, in my workflow anyways. Yeah, there's just only really a few details to pick out here. I think it'll be easier to just base coat this now, get the wash in there, and then I won't have to touch it again. And while I'm here, I might as well do like the hilt crossguard of the knives. because they are definitely going to be the bronze and not silver. And I can handily have the wash fix some of the minor mistakes by just kind of hiding them. Alright, on to the second knife. That might be the last bit I'm doing for now. Yeah. Okay, I don't know if this ranger has any metallic detail that needs to be painted right now. I guess we'll do the clasps of the cloak, that's fine. Damn, I splooshed a spot of something onto the green. I'm gonna have to fix that. Quick, before I forget, I think I can just... Oh yeah, I can definitely just reactivate this. Did I just tear the paper again? Damn. Perhaps I've been leaving it too wet. There, fixed. Actually, there might have been another spot on the... Yeah. Before I rinse off this brush, let me just tidy that up a bit more. Excellent. Alright, there's a few tiny little bits on the bow that get a little gold. Nothing like a little bit of gold and red accent to a unit. Or heck, my Scorn army from Hordes. The main colors of that army are gold and red. Alright. It's 2 to go. And I don't have much. This red and white leader model. It's mostly just the handle of the bow. I'm not entirely sure where the gold's supposed to start and end. I have to have the leader models right there. I can reference it in a second. Okay, I did paint the whole bar there. Fancy that. My light visor on the webcam is drooped even further. It's okay, they've only got about 15 minutes left. Alright, now we just gotta do like the knives bits. And that's it. Do need a bit more paint on the palette. Yeah, I don't know if what the Peasant Ranger is even gonna have for gold details. Alright, and the other knife. And then we also have one strapped to the belt. And it's kind of funny how the the handle of this sword is a little bent with the sculpt somehow. A little charming, we'll say. Alright, I think that's it for gold on this one. Now, is there... okay, there's a bit of gold on the bow. That's probably all I'm gonna do for gold. I could paint gold here, that could be... No, I did decide I was gonna paint that black still. Yeah. Alright, so just the bow then, whatever. And then it's washing time. Alright. Time for our old trusted ally, Army Painter Strongtone, to make an appearance. Glad I could help you get through your paperwork, Sparkster. Alright, my timing was spot on. In regards to, I'll just finish base coating these 4, then wash them, and then that'll be right about at the 2-hour mark. Alright, which brush do we want to be using though? Decently large one. Let's go with a very large one. And see what happens. Or you've got this one which is very bad at having a tip, so this is like maybe our ideal washing brush. Alright, gonna be in the concentration zone for this one. And I am gonna try and not get it onto the skin, because I think it helps it if it stands out a bit more. Because it's like, the skin is also brown, so I don't want it to look too samey. And like getting the strong tone onto the black might seem a little like it won't do much. But I think I might as well be thorough. Especially since there'll be some strong tones spilling up onto the edges of it anyways. Gotta be a little careful around the face. You know, with large sections at the start, I usually start with one big pass. Looks like I forgot to clean up that area about there. I'll do like one big pass, and then like as that stuff's all wet and starting to pool, that's when I like drag it across to evenly distribute it. Now that I've started onto the torso, I'm just like speeding through before we get any dry lines. And if I was truly speed painting, it would be done after this wash, but at this point, you all know that's not my style. Can use just a bit more on the pants area here. Yeah. Alright, I think we got it. I don't see any huge problem pooling areas. Alright, 1 washed, 3 to go. Just need a quick stretch in water. Alright, let's do the peasant next. This cape we're gonna have to be careful about pooling with. Start with a big sloppy mess and then drag it out to distribute evenly. Yes, and this strong tone is really what's gonna help easily improve the look of this cloth armor. I don't want to spill onto the face now. I might have already used strong tone on the face, I can't remember. It might have been strong tone mixed with a bit of Reichland flesh shade, perhaps? Spilled a bit onto the knuckles there. I don't think I want that. And the back's gonna end up a little bit streaky, but that's the part that gets the most edge, or the most highlighting. So that's totally fine in that spot anyways. Alright, I think that's this one done. A bit faster than the last one. Halfway there. And this one's got the most flowy cape. The most prone to unwanted pooling. Okay, I think that's about right. On to the rest. Gotta be pretty careful with like pooling and streaks on the hood as well, because it's just very like visible. We definitely want to get it properly in the creases there. Almost waited too long to start on the other arm there. Could have gotten a drying line on the sleeve. So sorry, it's hard to keep it in focus constantly when I'm doing a stage like this. Oh, I should have painted gold on the hilt there. Oh well. That'll be fine to just do later. Okay, I think that's... Oh, we gotta do the underside of the cape. That's the last thing. Yeah, a bit of pooling, especially in this area of the cape. I think we're gonna have, it's a bit too dry now, we're just gonna have to fix it when we're highlighting. Just gotta get the other side of the quiver. And the arm. Alright, last one to wash, and then we'll be wrapping up this stream. Probably about 2 hours, 10 minutes. Then I gotta get ready for work and such. I gotta eat something first. And I do, or I should ideally avoid the gray areas here, because they're going to end up white eventually. purple could probably do without a wash of this shade in particular, but I mean, I'm not gonna wash the quiver arrows the purple, but the handle of the weapons is fine. It's too small a detail to be worth, like, trying to avoid painting. Looks like we're almost out of wash on the palette, or basically are out of wash. Are we gonna have enough left? Maybe. Nah, we still gotta do the head. We just need a tiny bit more. This cloth definitely needs a solid wash. And that reminds me that I gotta do laundry. There's a bit that I'm gonna have to fix later. Alright. Gonna call it there. Thanks for watching this stream, everybody. There's gonna be one more 100 Kingdoms stream next week. I'm not sure what day yet. It could very well be Tuesday or Wednesday in the evening, my time. And then after that, we'll be streaming a new project. Okay. Thanks again for watching. I'm gonna go eat something and see you next time.